Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. I quite literally just finished up the last reading vlog and we are jumping into this week's reading vlog. I'm so excited about the books that I'm going to be picking up. We are still focusing on the fall TBR over here because I've decided I just need to stick to a plan because I'm feeling a little scatterbrained, a little all over the place, and sticking to a TBR, sticking to a plan is super helpful for me. So we are going to be reading books from our fall TBR, and I'm primarily going to be reading romances, and like, I don't want to say cozy romances, but I also don't want to say spooky romances. It's kind of a mixture of the two, which I guess we'll just say fall romances, perfect for like the Halloween fall season. And the first book we are going to be reading in this vlog is Mate by Ali Hazelwood. I'm so excited to pick this book up. It recently came out like last week, I want to say, and I cannot wait to jump into this. I did not reread Bride before picking this up, and I'm hoping it doesn't matter, but if it does, I will find some sort of synopsis to refresh my memory before jumping into this book. But I believe this follows two different characters that we are introduced to in Bride, and I don't think we necessarily need to know like all the political stuff that happens in Bride. I feel like this might take a different direction, which will be great, but I'm so excited for this one. This is highly anticipated for me. We will also be reading a couple of different, as I said, like fall Halloween romances. We're going to check out In the Dark by Chelsea Curto. This is a stalker haunted house rom-com, I think. I don't know. I'm so intrigued by this book and I'm hoping I like it. I love Chelsea Curto's writing. She wrote the DC Stars series, which is a hockey romance series that I absolutely love. If you have seen any of my videos, you know I love this series, and this book is like a perfect little Halloween romance. So we're going to read this before Halloween to get into the spirit a little bit. And then I'm also hoping to pick up It's Different This Time by Joss Richard. This cover screams fall to me. This is giving like New York City, You've Got Mail, 90s fall cozy vibes to me, and I'm so excited to jump into this one. And this one also recently came out, so we're doing like new releases on my fall TBR this week. 3 Halloween fall romances. I'm very excited. First, we're gonna jump into Mate, and I cannot wait to read this. I'm so excited. This is just over 400 pages, 440, little over 440. So I'm gonna start this tonight. I think I'm gonna breeze right through this book and I'll give you an update, I don't know, 100 pages in on how I'm feeling about it. I also love werewolves. Like, I love all supernatural creatures, honestly. Like, this is like a paranormal romance is like my bread and butter. This is my sweet spot. So I'm really hoping that this is gonna be a hit for me. Let's go ahead and jump into Mate. So I am now officially 110 pages into Mate, and I'm having the best time with this one so far. This follows Serena, who is the best friend of Misery, who's the FMC from Bride, and Misery and Serena were raised together since like, I want to say age 8. So they're more like sisters, if anything, and really like their true family. And Serena is a hybrid, so she's half human, half wolf, and she did not discover this about herself until, I don't, like a year or two before this book starts. So she hasn't known her whole life, and it's very rare to have a hybrid. Like, they didn't think that a hybrid could exist. She's incredibly valuable, but not in like a we're going to do anything to protect you way. Like, the wolves definitely want to protect her, but there are a lot of other sinister people out there like looking for her to like experiment on her. There's also like a lot of hatred, there's a lot of bias, there's a lot of phobias, I want to say, around her and who she is, like on a molecular, like biological level. So she really is kind of like in an interesting position, and the wolves are protecting her. And in our MMC Cohen, I think that's how you say his name. I looked it up. There are several different pronunciations, but it's Koen. I'm going to say Cohen. And he is the alpha of the Northwest pack, but he's also Serena's mate. And he knows that she's his mate, but neither of them have like really accepted it. I think there's an interesting dynamic between the two of them because of that. He kind of minimizes the mate connection between them, and because she's not from like a wolf pack or a wolf family, she doesn't quite understand like what it means to be his mate. So I think that is going to be like an interesting plot point for the two of them, but he's essentially going to like protect her. And I think that there are a couple of like interesting plot twists that we've had so far in just the first 100 pages, and I'm curious as to like where that's going to take us and how that's going to affect their romance and the story overall. I'm really into the wolf aspect of this. I think Cohen is very different from Lowe, who is the MMC in Bride, and I kind of like that about him. Like he's definitely more grumpy, if you could be more grumpy than Lowe. He's more grumpy, he's more, I don't want to say rough, but like he's definitely more serious. He handles his pack differently than Lowe does, so I think the relationships within his seconds and within his pack are a little bit different from Lowe's. There's also just like the aspect of a different relationship between Serena and Cohen as opposed to Misery and Lowe. So I'm having a great time. Allie Hazelwood is such an incredible writer. So like I knew that I would enjoy this romance, but I'm just having the best time. I also love that she brought in, just like in Bride, at the beginning of each chapter, there's a little note that's in italics. I don't know if you can see that, but it's in italics and it's from Cohen's perspective, and then the rest of the book is from Serena's perspective. So we get like tiny bits of his thoughts or like his brain, and I love that you kind of see like his feelings for Serena and how he's reacting to what's happening on these like tiny little notes. You're kind of understanding what he's going through without it being a dual POV. So it's just an interesting take on a dual POV, or like it's not even a dual POV, but just like an interesting way to introduce his feelings. So it's not completely one-sided, but it mostly is like from Serena's POV. So I'm having a good time with this. I'm gonna sit down and read a little bit right now. I feel like I'm getting a little bit sick, so I don't know how late I will stay up tonight to read this book, but I'm hoping to finish it in the next like day or so because I want to read. So hopefully I feel okay enough, like in my brain. I kind of have a headache, so I'm hoping that doesn't like deter me too much from reading with my eyeballs in this vlog. So we're gonna read right now and hopefully get like halfway. That would be ideal, is to get halfway in this book tonight. My friends, some choices were made last night and I ended up finishing Mate. I think I went to bed around 1. Well, I finished the book before 1, but I ended up like staying awake, not being able to sleep because I was thinking about this book so much. I had the best time reading this. Honestly, like pure vibes. If you liked Bride, you're gonna like this. I will say there are less politics as far as like the vampire human werewolf discussion that was happening in Bride, and I think that's mostly because a vampire is not a main character in this book. I mean, we do have Misery. She is present in this book, but she's not one of our main characters. We have a werewolf and a I should say a were. They call themselves wares. They're not werewolves. So a were and a were-human hybrid. And so we're much more in like the human were discussion, or world I should say, and I kind of loved it. I do feel like the initial like plot that I was assuming we were going to follow, like the conflict, was not what was the main conflict. I feel like we kind of got switched like halfway through this book, or maybe like a third of the way through this book, which was totally fine. I was not necessarily there for like the big overarching plot. I'm here for the romance. And the romance was romancing, and I loved it. I love Serena. I loved Cohen. I thought their dynamic was so interesting. I really thought they were like a really great pair. Like they worked well together, which I guess makes sense because they are in fact mates, and like it just worked. And the romance was a spicin'. If you liked that in Bride, the alpha part of their relationship, it does show up again here in Mate. And I had such a good time reading this. Obviously I couldn't stop. I was at one point, I was like, okay, I'll stop at 260 pages, and then I got to 300 pages and I was like, I'm just gonna finish this, which was dumb because his book is 440 pages long. Like 300 is nowhere near 440, but we finished her anyways. We had a great time. I'm so glad I read this. I can't wait to put it on my shelf next to Bride. And honestly, like, I definitely think I see myself rereading this duology. I'm assuming there's nothing else in this world, but if there is, I will be reading that immediately as well. But I can definitely picture myself reading this duology in like future fall seasons, because these are like perfect fall romances to me. I'm so delighted with this one. And as you saw, I went to the library today. I had a book on hold, and I got so many books. So many books for my kid. I will say he is in a Spanish school, so he reads almost exclusively in Spanish. So I pick up a lot of Spanish books for him at the library. But for me, I had this book on hold. It's Codebreaker by J. Martel. My friend recommended this one to me. She said it gave her like the Naturals vibes, which I loved the Natural series. I binged it in like a week. I was so obsessed with it at the time. Like it was all I could think about and talk about. And I recommended that book to her, and she said this reminded her of the Naturals, so she recommended it to me. And so I thought this would be like a really fun read in the fall. It's also YA, I believe, so I think it's going to be really fast. This is like 350 pages. I am going to breeze through this book. I don't know when I'll read it, in the next 3 weeks, I assume, but I'm excited to get into this. I'm really into like the spy criminal stuff right now. I did just read The Blonde Who Came In From the Cold by Ally Carter. Love her writing, love the spy aspect of that. So I thought that this could be fun to read this fall as well. I also got my book club book, which is We Solve Murders. Again, criminal aspects. This is the author who wrote the Thursday Murder Club, and we were going to read that one for book club, but the wait was so long at the library. We were like, none of us are going to get this, and we tried to choose books that are on Kindle Unlimited or we can easily get from the library so that people aren't forced to buy a book. So we decided to swap for We Solve Murders, which I don't know if this was written after Thursday Murder Club or before, what have you, but I also have this on audio, so I might be listening to the audio of this week. I'll let you know how I'm feeling about it, but I don't know anything about this book. Okay, Solving Murders, it's a family business. Okay, that's all I need to know. Sold. I mean, I was going to read it anyways for book club, but I'm hoping this is a good time. I watched the movie Thursday Murder Club, and I thought it was so wholesome and fun, and I was like, I kind of want to read this, but I'm not like a thriller girly, you know? But this could be fun. So we're going to try this one out. Hopefully it's a winner. Hopefully the whole book club likes this book. I have like 2 weeks to read this, but I'd like to just get it done if I can. So this one might come up on the docket for this reading vlog as well. And then I found The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, and I have been hearing such high praise about this book from like literally everyone. I think there's a second book in this standalone series that just came out or came out this year, but I have never read this one, but it's highly praised. Like every time I see this book, it's like fawned over, so I just thought I'd give it a shot. This is the perfect time to read this book. It's fall, it's witchy, I'm hoping for like practical magic-esque vibes. I don't know if that's what I'm gonna get, but that's what I'm hoping for. And this just looks fun. It looks whimsical, it looks magical, it looks lighthearted, which might be a fun twist after We Solve Murders. So we'll see when I get to this one, but hopefully sometime in the next couple of weeks. Are we gonna be changing up our TBR? Perhaps, I don't know, we shall see what we're feeling. This is a little bit more of like mood reading vlog than I anticipated, but we're just gonna go with it, okay? I also have some book mail. I know what this is. It's a pre-order. It came out 2 days ago. I'm very excited to get into it. She's so pretty. Am I gonna read this book this year, or is it gonna have to wait until January? It might have to wait until January because I'm already feeling so overwhelmed as I go to the library and get more books. So overwhelmed by the amount of books I want to read this year. Like in the next 2.5 months, I'm feeling so overwhelmed. So this one might have to wait, and this would be really fun to like start the year off strong. I mean, hopefully strong. But we have The Things Gods Break. This book is so pretty! I'm so glad I decided to pre-order this one. I was really on the fence, like, do I actually need it? And no, I don't need this, but I have the spray painted edges for book 1 in this series, which is The Games Gods Play. I thought that book was so good, 4 stars. This is gonna be a trilogy, so I was like, let me see how we like book 2. Hopefully this one is a winner for me. I did meet the author last month, and we briefly talked about this book, and I think it's going to hurt me a little bit, but she said the 3rd book will put you back together. But I think I am going to hold off on reading this one until January. We will put this on our 26 books to read in 2026 list, so I can guarantee myself I'm going to get to it. I also just feel like with the amount of books that I currently have like on my radar for the end of fall and like Bookmas content and holiday books, I just feel like I'm kind of winding down already, and I want to have something that I'm really looking forward to in the new year. So this could be just the thing to get me excited for January reading. So I think we'll add this to like the winter TBR probably and read this in January. But I am so excited to have this book in my hands. She's so pretty. I can't wait to put her next to The Games Gods Play. There's my very long-winded update for you. Next, I'm going to pick up In the Dark by Chelsea Curto, and I'm doing like a little impromptu buddy read. A friend of mine was texting the girly group, and she was like, I'm starting this book tonight. And I was like, no way, so am I. And then everyone jumped on board. So we're all going to start In the Dark today, which I'm very excited about. So this is like a serial unaliver book. I think he's also a little bit of a stalker, but like a rom-com. I don't know how that works, but we'll find out. I'm excited because I love Chelsea Curto. I think if anyone can make this happen, she can do it. Fingers crossed, this book will also be a winner. I'm just like excited about reading, and that's a really great place to be. I love when I'm excited about reading, and I kind of feel like I just want to read all the time, which is an excellent place to be, except for the fact that we're super busy. So I'm feeling like reading, let's read. So let's go read. So many updates for you. Here's the thing. I have been reading so much recently, but I've only been reading like primarily at night, and so I haven't been updating the vlog because I'm reading very late at night. And so I've finished book. I'm about to finish another book, I DNF'd a book. We've got things to talk about. Okay, so first off, I DNF'd In the Dark by Chelsea Curto, which I was really disappointed by because that was one of my like most anticipated rom-coms of the fall. I was really looking forward to that one. I thought it was going to be a smash hit for me because Chelsea typically is, or I suppose the DC Stars series from her is one of my favorites. So I thought this one would also work for me, and it just did not. There were a lot of things. I DNF'd it at 25%, so I gave it a decent amount of time. I just think it felt a little clunky to me personally. I also think the way that the romance happens, like it's lust at first sight, and things go from 0 to 100 very quickly between our two main characters. I also feel like there's an aspect of the male main character where he is like one of the scary people in this haunted house. Like that's one of his jobs, is he works in a haunted house and he dresses up as one of the guys who scares the guests in the haunted house. And that is just a part of who he is, but the other part of who he is, and I didn't get that far into it, so like I don't know the reasoning behind all of this stuff, but he unalives people for money. And it was just like the way that he was talking about it with his best friend in like the first chapter, I was like, it feels a little bit like Brynn Weaver's series, like the Butcher and Blackbird series. I don't know what that series is called, but the first book is Butcher and Blackbird. That series to me did not work for me, and I think I should have guessed that this one was also not going to work for me. Like I think I like the dark romance and I like the idea of a dark rom-com. It just doesn't, there's something about it that doesn't work for me. So we DNF'd that one. We also read the entirety of It's Different This Time by Joss Richard, and I was not expecting to finish that as quickly as I did, but I got to a certain spot at like midnight and I was like, you know, we're just gonna keep reading, and we finished it that night. So we ended up reading an entire book in a day. It was so cute. This is a second chance romance. It takes place in the fall in New York City. She is an actress looking for work and he is a chef, and these two characters were roommates like 5 to 10 years prior, and something happened 5 years ago and they haven't spoken since. She ended up moving to Los Angeles and they haven't seen each other, they haven't spoken in those 5 years, but something brings them back to New York to deal with the house that they used to live in, and they're kind of forced into a situation where they have to deal with this house together. And so we've got like a little bit of forced proximity, we've got a second chance romance, we've got like all of the quintessential fall New York vibes, which is just so fun. We've also got our FMC who's really struggling with figuring out like who she is and who she wants to be in her career, but also like as a person. She's dealt with some trauma as far as like her past with her family, so she just feels like she's unloved and she doesn't deserve good things, and I think that really like seeps into her relationships and even into like her career and how she sees herself in her like trajectory in her career. So we get a lot of discussion on that, which is really cool, and I think that the author did such a good job at like fleshing out both of our characters as well as some of our side characters I like really connected with and really loved, and I wish I had like gotten more of them. Like I wanted to see more screen time and get a little bit more of them because I loved them so much. So I gave this book 4 stars. I don't know if it's one that I would like go back and reread, but I would definitely recommend to anyone who's looking for like a fall romance, anyone who's looking for a second chance romance, and also like a friends to lovers romance. I think the concept of like them being best friends, them being roommates for so long, and then trying to figure out like, is it worth it to risk our friendship for the possibility of a romance, for the possibility to like have a future together romantically. And I think that that's a really interesting topic that they kind of unpack in this book. So if you're looking for a book like that, I would highly recommend It's Different This Time. This book just came out like a couple weeks ago, I think, so it's fairly new. I have been seeing quite a lot of hype about this book online, so I definitely think the hype is worth it with this one. Next, I ended up picking up The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. I ended up getting this at the library, which I think I showed you in this vlog, and I just decided to pick it up on a whim. Like, I feel like if I don't read it before Halloween, I'm gonna miss the moment. I really have had my eye on this for quite a while, but I wanted to read it in the fall, and it slipped my mind when I was building like my fall TBR, so I'm so glad I ended up getting it at the library. But we are almost close to being, I think I have like 50 pages left in this book, so I'll kind of like recap it when I finish because I feel like I've been talking for quite a while here, and probably in the morning when we have some better light. But this one is also so fun, so whimsy. I'm just getting like the perfect fall romance vibes in this vlog. I'm having the time of my life, which is probably why I'm reading these books so quickly, and you're not getting any of my like in the moment thoughts about these books because I'm eating them up. I'm reading them so fast, and they're all like sweet and a little bit quirky and just like lovable FMCs and MMCs. And then like all of them are so unique in their own way too. Like we have Mate with the wares and the fated mate situation and like a little bit of a mystery. We've got It's Different This Time, where we have some depth, we've got some angst, we've got some longing between our two main characters because of their history and like the 10 years that they have known each other, and you get all of that in that book. And then we've got Secret Society of Irregular Witches, which is like just so cute and quirky and whimsy, and like our little witch is just, I love her so much, and I wish her every happiness, and I wish that she didn't feel the way that she does in society. And like I just want her to be able to be herself, loud and proud, and like love who she wants to love and be who she wants to be and embrace that fully. And I hope that they can figure that out together. But I will talk more about this, I think, in the morning. And then we'll probably wrap up this vlog soon. I don't know, will I fit in another book? Probably, we'll see. I'm gonna finish this right now. We'll talk in the morning. Okay, as predicted, I did in fact finish The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches last night. I think this title is such a mouthful, but it does make sense in the context of the book. I'm not sure how much I talked about this book last night. To be honest, filming last night was a little bit of a fever dream. In this book, we are following Mika, who is our FMC. She is a witch, and in this particular world, witches are not supposed to like be around each other. They live better alone, like they're safer alone because they don't believe that society as a whole will accept them for who they are. So Mika has been alone her entire life, and she ends up getting roped into this kind of crazy adventure with this found family who lives in this huge estate, and she is hired to tutor 3 witches. And everyone in the house knows that she's a witch and knows that the girls are witches, but they have been told specifically by the owner of this house, who is also a witch, to like keep them safe, to keep them a secret, to protect them at all costs. And so that's what these adults who are living in this house are doing, and they hire Mika because they realize that the girls need help with their magic. They need to learn how to use it so they can keep themselves safe. And she comes in, she's helping the girls learn magic, but she's also learning a lot about herself. She's realizing like, is it really better for us to be alone, or would we be better off like helping each other? And like how to trust other people, not only herself, but these humans that are not witches, and like that not all people are out to like get her because she's a witch. And I think that's a really interesting discussion in this book. There's also a little bit of a romance with Jamie. He is like an Irish librarian, and he lives in this house. He runs the library, which is kind of like a academic library, I would say, but he's also one of the guardians for the girls, and they all kind of have their own story of why they are at this house and how the witch who owns the house brought them together. And I just love the found family aspect in this book. I think it's so well done. I love the relationship with Mika and the girls, and with the adults who are living in this house trying to protect the girls and help them flourish as women and as witches. And I love Mika and Jamie together. I will say this is less romance, more like women's fiction with a large subplot of romance would be how I see this book, but I had a great time. It was very whimsy, it was very quirky. Highly recommend if you're looking for like a cozy romance to read around Halloween. This would definitely fit the bill. I'm giving this book 4 stars as well. So I think I'm just gonna wrap up the vlog here because I'm kind of switching directions, and I like that we read all like fall romances in this vlog. So we're just gonna end here on a high note, and we did read 3 4-star romances in this vlog. We've got Mate, we've got The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, and then we also read It's Different This Time. I realized that most of this reading I did without vlogging at all, so this might be a really short vlog, but I had a great time reading. And I hope that you guys also will pick some of these books up if you have not already, because they have been such a joy to read this week, and I feel like they would be perfect for like giving the fall vibes if you're not into like spooky horror thriller stuff. check these out. So great time reading this week. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and hopefully I will catch you in the next one soon. Bye!